Welcome to the Grown Up Group. My name is Ty. I'm joined by Kira, Jazz, Victor. This is a podcast by regular people tackling the world from a Black perspective. In today's session, we're going to be going over why women are harder and men much softer. So, who wants to go first? Why are women harder and men softer?
Women are harder because we are natural born nurturers. We are mothers, we are aunts, we are sisters, we're doctors, nurses, we're all of that. We have to take on so much on an everyday basis. Men are soft because of the nurturing women who are taking care of the men, who taking care of them far as doing like nurturing.
Yeah.
We're nurturing the men also or whatever. So we're making the phone calls for them, we're making the doctor's appointments for them, things that they can do on their own. But like I said, we are natural born nurturers. So it's just like it's in us to do this. So that's why women are so hard. It's like we're forced to be hard on an everyday basis. That's my perspective of it.
I agree.
There's some truth behind that. Anyone else's thoughts?
Can I go?
Sure.
Yeah, like to kind of backpack off of what she said is kind of true. And like we really don't have time to be soft. Like when we're soft, we get taken advantage of. So we gotta be hard. And being loving and nurturing, and it goes back to the men. We've made them softer because we made them comfortable. So even with women, right? We have to be like we get up, we go, we rip, we run. We have no time for feelings. Really, we have no time to acknowledge our own feelings. We just gotta go. We gotta get it done. And then maybe we really can't even be soft. We really can't be. But like I was saying before, like with men, we've made them comfortable. We made them more relaxed. We taken on the role of them sometimes. We can't really, but we taken on the more of a take charge, get everything done, both parent type of role. Like we have to do all of that. So maybe that's probably why we're harder now.
Yeah, I definitely hear that and understand it. I want to say that I think from a male perspective, and I know I'm not a male, but I see it often in a lot of males that I speak to, because I do have male friends and I do have, colleagues, and I work around, of course, a lot of men. And I never forget one guy told me specifically, sometimes you got to put yourself first. And as a man, you learn to do that. And I think that has softened them to a degree because they're looking at their health, they're looking at their mental health, they're looking at the statistics. My apologies, statistics where it states that, men die 7 years ahead of women when they're in a marriage or a relationship. And that's simply because the weight of a man is to be the protector and the provider. And I think because they've been the protector and provider for so long, and those people that are men that are providers and protectors, they're cherished, but they're cherished to the point where they're protecting their family. They take on that worry, that stress, and a little bit of that concerns me, because they should never stop being the providers and protector just because of the mental health and the stability of their health. I think that while we've learned to share the burden of it to a degree and get into the workforce and kind of be a leader in, some of our careers, some of us, I think the role should be shared. And I think that's why women learn to be a little bit much harder, and men are a little bit more softer to take in their health and their mental stability. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, as long as there's a shared commonality of what the goal is at the end of the day between the two people that's in a relationship or a couple, or just a man that's single by himself. If he put himself first and he does his maintenance and his care and his self-love, I don't see anything wrong with that, as long as he knows that he still needs a woman or man to get his love that he needs, depending on their preference, the love that they need to feel that they're nurtured, taken care of, and not just taking on a burden of an additional stress or somebody that can't relieve them of that stress. And that's my thoughts on it. So while I nod, and I also want to speak on the fact of women. I think the women have grown to be a little bit harder because from our ancestral days, and I'm going to say our slave days, and I'm going to take it there, we've learned to basically, while our men were taken from us and given and sold, we learned to basically take in a lead in the family and role of, we need to take the charge. And it's not necessarily a healthy dynamic, because we place the world on our shoulders, or they place the world on our shoulders during that process. We couldn't fight to save and protect our men, not even our young sons at that time, but we've learned to, over the course of years, take on that dynamic. And I think the government, in a different form of slavery, has now did it again by simply removing the Black male from homes with the way that they put the programming in place for women and, you know, low income families. And that's just my perspective from it. I think that women now have to, no choice, they're forced to take on this role of leadership that they necessarily didn't have to do in the past. It's unfortunate that it has broken up since the 70s because of these government programs, but before then, I think that we were actually the leaders of it since the slave era. And coming from that, thinking about it, it's not that far ago. So it's kind of like we just did a whole 360. They usually say when things like that, they evolve, they turn back and they go 360. And I think we're at that 360 era. Women are learning to be the leaders again, getting into the workforce. We're easy to get promoted over our blue collar worker husbands and mates. It's just unfortunate, but they put us in that role again to be like, okay, now we're going to force women to be leading. And yeah, that's my perspective on it. Victor, do you have any thoughts, feelings? You're quiet over there. What's going on in that brain of yours?
Well, because this is the first time I think in all of my years on this planet, I've actually heard the word nurture be used as something that's hard, and nothing that nurtures is hard. Everything that nurtures is soft. It's why, you know, babies have to suckle from a soft woman, from her breast, you know, not her elbow. So, you know, the idea that, you know, that being nurturing men, which is crazy because it's that man's job to give his life for. You know, when I hear these sort of things, it's like, well, are men getting softer? No, men are just asking a very simple question. What's in it for me? Yes, I could live a whole bunch of years longer. Do I want to live those miserable years? You know, do I want to be, you know, my great-grandfather, my grandfather sitting there, 79 years old, don't say nothing to nobody. He's still miserable. He ain't been able to really say nothing about how he feels probably in 50 years. Is that worth it? What do I tangibly get for it? The only thing that the number one thing that a woman can give a man, obviously, is a child. You know what I mean? And you know, men are just kind of taking a look at that and going, well, I want to voice my opinions as well. Now, I think, you know, I even think this thing about women getting hard, I don't think that's the case either. You know what I mean? I think now we get to see what other people are going through that look like us. And it's like, damn, yeah, we all got it hard. It's like, well, we've all been working. I mean, the economy is literally built for a two-income system. You know, it's very few in the upper echelons of actual, you know, salary that can say, well, you know what, you can just stay home. And the other question is, are you going to stay home on a guy's budget? You know, if he's making 40 grand, are you going to stay home on 40 grand? You know, like it's crazy sometimes when I hear these things because there's so many different factors that are brought in. And like I said, this is the generation now where people are going to voice their opinion. You know, women have always, you know, especially our sisters, Black women, you know, we've had to work, unfortunately. And we were married at a higher rate. Yes, the whole welfare and government program debacle, that did a number. You know, you throw in, you know, the mass deportation of physical labor jobs that were high paid around that time, and the introduction of, you know, heavy drug money in terms of crack cocaine and the war against that and all that, and the mass incarceration of men. Yeah, like that stuff plays a factor.
Right.
You know, so we go to, you know, children who were born in the 70s into the 80s, you know, and these kids, they having kids in the early 2000s and the 90s, and it's like, yeah, why are these grown men now in 2023 seem softer than what they would have? Because now they're looking at it as, but is this worth it? Yes. Yeah. What can you give me besides food and sex? Sex is at an all-time low. You can buy sex for cheap, you know, and a lot of younger guys aren't even getting sex. They're like, you know what? I'll just play video games and watch pornography. That's going to affect our future daughters. Because those men are going to ask for even more. And all they're doing is looking at, you know, the further generation complaining about men asking for something simple as the right to speak about their concerns. You know what I mean? And again, the women, like I said, the women are getting harder. I think it's just more of a shared ideology in order to kind of boost the social ego, if you will. You know, to try to say, yeah, you know, we're the least protected, and we have to do all this stuff by ourselves, and why can't we live a life that other people live? And see, you look at how other people live, and it's like, damn, they got it just as bad, if not worse.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, with two
But you know,
busy,
I want to chime in on that because you say they have it just as worse, but it's not shown that way to us on the television screen. So I think
Right.
when we have that as an example and we see the white picket fence and, you know, them with the husbands, because they love to give them a husband in commercials and videos, even if it's a black
Right.
man. So, you
Right.
know, if you look at it from
Mhm.
that perspective and we're watching closely, and then when we go to the supermarkets and we see it there in the aisle ourselves, hello, like this is the living, you know, view of what's in front of us and what's happening. And we kind of delve into that later with the Love and Think session, but it's like, what is the perspective, even if, you know, this is something that we're seeing on a day-to-day, you know, as we're living our lives, how do you then justify that statement? Like, you know, we see it. So you can't fool us. You know, if we weren't seeing it and the statistics weren't showing it, I would then say, yeah, by all means, you're right. But then it's like, okay, it's a whole different number when you look at it and you actually witness it on a day to day. Yeah. So how do
okay,
you
so
explain that?
Yeah.
it's very simple. For at least one particular group in this country, they are 5 times the size of us. So if you venture into their areas, which is going to be the majority of the country, yeah, by sheer numbers, you're going to see the majority of them in married couples because there's more of them. And yes, they
Mhm.
are at a higher rate married than us because they don't
Yeah.
have the same sort of economic and socioeconomic things placed against us.
Mhm.
You know, there's not it's not a celebrated disparity between their men and their women in terms of, let's say, college enrollment.
Mm,
You know, women have, especially since about the 1980s or so, women have definitely gone to college way more than men.
right.
In our community in particular, is teetering to, damn near 3 out of every 4 people are women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's
Yeah.
very scary because what it does breed is it breeds a sort of ideology that doesn't allow for any other sort of thought. And it makes it seem to many of our younger ladies that the men aren't doing anything.
Right. Could
Mm.
it be the possibility that we are looking for the example of what we're trying to emulate? So when I say that, I
Mhm.
mean, when I was growing up as a little girl, I had 2-parent household. My father was the breadwinner. My father went to work every day. He started his day at 5 o'clock in the morning. He came home 8 o'clock at night. He paid all the bills in the house. He made sure he put us in place as his children. He made sure to discipline us. And when my mom would tell him what we did, we lived in fear of my dad more than my mom, even though he gave her the message and
Mhm.
made her discipline us because we were girls. So he didn't put his hands on us, but he said, hey, you make sure you go in the room and you tell up for blah, blah, blah. And we would hear that. And we were like,
Right.
okay, he's the man, he's the leader. And I think sometimes women today, so especially in my age group, I look for a guy that's going to lead me like that. When I get a
Right.
guy and I meet him and I'm like, well, what do you do for a living? And he's like, well, I work a 9 to 5 and I come home. And I'm like, and what do you do? And I get on my Xbox. So I watch the TV for 8 hours. And I'm like, my dad would never, like,
Right.
you
Right.
know, he
Right.
constantly was moving. He constantly was hustling. And, you know, I'm thankful for that. I look at that now when I look for a mate. Like, does he have that matching ambition and goal? And is he driven like I am? And
Right.
that kind of shakes me when I see I've had so many failed relationships because I'm looking for that model. I'm looking for that father, you know, not father figure, because that sounds gross to me when I hear that. Like, not my
Right.
daddy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm looking for someone to emulate that behavior because that was a powerful leader to me. That's what I see as a Black man in my community that led me for so many years. Now that I'm on my own, that's the only thing that could step in my presence that I would respect. If I get a guy that's working and he's like, oh, yeah, I come home and he want to sit on the Xbox for 8 hours, I'm looking at him like, really? You do that?
Right.
I got 6 businesses. Like, what are you doing? What are you bringing to the table? You know, we immediately want to compare. And I never want to be in competition with my mate, but I want to let him
Right.
know that he should be as equally driven as I am. And if you do
Right.
work a 9 to 5, that's fine. But your salary and what you do And whatever what I want to say hobbies, whatever your hobbies are, you got to be able to do it with conviction. You got to be able to sell me on who what your mission is, because I'm just not going to see it. And I'm not going to be like, okay, after time it'll wear off. I'm like, he going on 9 to 5 and then he sit here on the Xbox for 15 hours.
Yeah,
Right.
see, that
You
is,
know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that's how you feel
Right.
though. That's how
but
you
yeah, but see,
Right.
feel.
that's such a disingenuous comparison, because what you basically said was you're looking for a particular type of man. And the example
Yep.
you use is of the second to worst type of man, which is a man with no ambition. Most men are not that way. They may not show it to you because they may not see you the way you see them. You know what I mean? So you always got to remember that. Like we're two people, and it's something that guys know very quickly. Just because you like her, don't mean she like you.
Right.
Right.
Don't mean
Yes.
she like
Very
you the way
true.
you like her.
Right.
So keep that in
True.
mind when you have to keep yourself in check there. And
Mm.
if a guy, and it's so what if the guy was to sit on the Xbox for 8 hours a day? He can afford to take care of himself. I mean, he may
Boo,
not.
boo. No,
Yeah,
I'm joking.
boo.
Go
I
ahead.
get it. No, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it 1,000%. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not going to poo-poo those brothers. Those brothers stay out the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather them stay out the way than be doing something stupid.
Yeah.
People with no ambition who got nothing to fall back on, they go out and do stupid things.
Right.
True.
So if you're going to spend your $500-$600 on a game system that's going to last you 8 years, sounds like a sound investment.
Yeah, that is an investment. I think I'm just looking at it from my father would never. So if I'm looking for somebody that
Right.
match that energy,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like my father, even though if he came home and grabbed a beer, he'd be out working on the car while he drinking his beer.
Right.
He'd
Oh
be in
my
the
God,
garage,
yes.
like you know what I mean? He would do manly activity. He's building something in the garage, or he's putting something together, or he's fixing something in the house, or he's doing my mom's to-do list. Like you know what I mean? Something
Yeah.
besides just recreational self things. And I think that's where I'm doing the comparison where I say mental and emotional health check for men is different today. Because my dad sitting in the garage for 6 hours after he get off drinking his beer, that was his peace of mind. Or him
Right.
sitting and watching a game, not all the games. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
he would be like,
Right.
okay, the Bulls are coming on. I'm gonna watch this game. Because that's the thing back in the 80s when the Bulls won.
Yeah, but
Right.
then
I
again,
remember
even
that.
more so,
But
they
that's what I'm
still have.
looking for.
No,
Go ahead,
I
I'm
get it,
sorry.
but at the same time, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But at the same
No,
time,
it's
it's like,
okay.
how much he had a job, right?
Yeah.
One job. He was able to take care of a whole household,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think the job that your father did then, you think it would pay equal or greater in terms of, rating for inflation from that time to now, that a man can take care of a whole household on?
Who absolutely. My dad still works the same job with very little promotion, and he's a hustler. So it's crazy to me at the age of that I am. I could call my dad right now and be like $50, and he'd be like, I'm on my way. Like absolutely, he takes care of me. He's adopted 6 kids outside of that he still maintains and take care of today. There's not one of my sisters that haven't called him and hit him up for some money. My mortgage gonna be late, my electricity about to be shut off, I need to move. You name it, my dad has showed up every single time because he's taken on the hero role. So that's what he is to us. So that's why I'm like, I look for a guy not to just be my hero, because I ain't looking for Captain
Right.
Save a Hoe. And I ain't saying
Definitely
I'm a hoe,
not.
but you know what I mean, the reference.
Right.
But I'm like,
Right.
it's just you look for a guy that's going to be like, okay, I got this, and roll his sleeves up and get dirty. And you don't
Right.
find that a lot today. Guys aren't willing to sacrifice their peace. And I think that's why they're like, I'm not going to sacrifice my peace to go help this girl. She knew what the
Right.
outcome was going to be, or she knew she set herself up for that. It's usually, what can you bring to the table to offer me? And I'm like, this role switch. Because that's usually what a woman would ask a guy. That's not what a guy asks a
Exactly.
woman. You at the
Yeah,
table, if I
because
could bring the table, the dinner, and everything else, what the hell I need a guy for?
Exactly.
Todd,
yeah,
even the
Think
backpack of
about
what you
that.
said. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Backpack of what you said. My situation was very similar to yours, right? I had a 2-parent home. My father and my mother worked. They had very good jobs. So they both paid the mortgage. I don't know exactly how they worked that out, but they worked it out. It was never, like I said, I don't know what they did, but my father always was the type of man. Like he would tell me, what you with this man for? He can't do nothing for you. What you here for? Like,
Yep.
don't call. And my thing
Mhm.
is this. I will call my father right now. He would give me the money for anything I need it for. If he don't have it, he gonna go get it.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I was younger, my father worked that job all them hours. On the weekends, he would go out to the bar, give some beers, and come home. Or either On the weekends, he'll work on his car because he's definitely a car fanatic. Everybody knows that about my father. He's a car fanatic. Or he'd be doing something. I don't know a lazy man. I don't know not to be a go-getter. I don't know that. And I don't know
That's
how
Right.
along the way I
comparison.
pick certain type of men up. And because I've had some scragglers, like I never with this man. He did nothing, he brought nothing to the table. And one time my father said to me, it wasn't even against anybody or anything. He was like, because I think we talking about situation with somebody in the family. He was like, what can that man do for you? What does he do for you? Like, what is he there for? If I can't, and it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me how a man is not being a man. So I grew up off of that. Like I didn't grow up off a man being lazy, sitting around doing nothing. Everybody
Right.
worked. My mother worked. They paid the mortgage. Everything was good. So I also say to my mother that if anytime my father feel like he wanted to do the dip with my mother and us, like it's over with us, I'm out. After these kids, my mother was like, I got it. Like, so I got both ends. I got
Mhm.
my mother always had it, my father always had it, and together they had it. So I don't know how it is to not go out there and get on my own or take care of my kids by myself. I don't know how it is. So my father was a very good example. Like he even like if y'all ever seen the post on Facebook I make, he run for my kids. He would run faster for my kids than for me. They could
Yeah.
call my father 11 o'clock at night to bring them watermelon. He would do it
Yep.
because
That's what
he also is an example for my daughters because they don't have a father. So
Right.
he's the ultimate example for them too. Like pick them up from school. They call right now. My daughter's at school at a, working at her school. People get out of his bed right now. Go pick her up and drop her home. She called. See, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I don't know a lazy man. I don't know it. I don't know a lazy man. I don't know go to get a hustler. And I don't remember my father not having a job. I don't remember any of that. If he
So
didn't
then
have
I
a
want
job,
to ask,
huh?
the question, is
Yeah,
it toxic that that is our comparison and our expectations for men may be more than what we should have? Like maybe our expectations
no,
are a little too much.
I don't think
Thoughts?
that's the case. No, I think that the expectations that you ladies are presenting are fair and understandable. Like I'm not
Right.
being turned away from that. I'm just saying, yes, what you want to run into with a lot of men, not especially a lot of these younger dudes. You know what I mean? Anybody that's under like 35, those sort of dudes, they're gonna ask you, all right, cool. Yeah, I can do all that stuff and you know what I mean, and we can get it popping and all that, but what do you bring to me? Because I can always find another you.
Right.
So what do you want to you know what I mean? Like, are
So,
you gonna be
mhm.
quiet when I say be quiet, or is that gonna be a fight? You have to worry about every
Who
time I
tells
walk
somebody to
in the
be
door, it's
quiet?
gonna be a conversation, huh?
Who tells somebody? I'm stuck in the who be
So
quiet part. Who tells somebody to be quiet?
She's like, wait, who
Oh,
told
I
me to
have
be
no problem
quiet?
saying be quiet. Oh, I have no problem saying be quiet. 'Cause if I need you to be quiet, I need you to be quiet. It's for a reason. It's not because I'm being an asshole. It's because I'm either listening for something or I'm telling you that so I can think so we can figure out the solution to this problem. So when I say be
Okay,
quiet, it's quiet. It's not, well, I
right,
don't
right.
think it's just quiet. Words stop after I speak.
Okay, it's
So
tone delivery with me. It's tone delivery. Watch what you're
that's
Yeah,
saying, how
I
you
don't
say it,
also
but I
feel
get what
it.
you're saying.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I feel you. I feel you. But
Mhm,
as a man,
mhm,
my tone delivery denotes how serious I am. I'm not
mhm.
asking.
I'm
That's
telling
the
at
difference.
that point.
I'm not asking. And most
You're
men, if
telling
you
at
push
that
them to that
point.
point, huh?
You're telling at that point.
No, I'm insisting.
Oh, you're insisting.
and you're
Okay.
definitely ain't telling if you're sitting on the game 8 hours a day, you're not telling me to be quiet.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
no, you can't do
Thank
that.
you. I'm
You
like,
can't
who
do
you
that.
talking to?
No, you can't do
See,
that
I said the
part.
same thing in my head.
Nah,
And I'm like, I'm gonna hear him out. I want to
Who
hear
you
like, cause I'm
telling?
trying to get what
Yeah,
he's saying. Yeah,
nah.
yeah. I'm like, yeah, that right there, you have full right to go, nigga. What?
Like,
right.
Who the
Cause
fuck
facts.
are you
huh?
talking to? Them
Who
Right.
you
niggas sitting
talking
there
to?
playing
Yes.
Madden and shit. Nah, like, yo, who are you talking to? But if there's something serious happening or I notice something,
Right,
if I say stop,
Yeah,
I just mean
I get
stop.
that part. I get that part.
right,
I
So
get that
right.
part. Because
it's
there's been
my
situations
job
where, hmm
to do bad things. If I have bad things done to me, to make sure that you can just go home and go to sleep.
right. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Because
So
I've been in
yeah,
situations where,
no,
yeah,
my bad.
I've been in situations where it's for protection. Because I can't stand a person where I've seen situations outside where the man tell a woman to stop, 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 and she just going. Because there's a situation where they're both in danger. It could be arguing with another man or anything. They're both in danger. He like, stop, be quiet. She's like, what you mean be quiet? She's going off for him. I'm like to myself, no, he's trying to get you out of danger. He's trying to save you. Be quiet. Be quiet. Just hush. And she did not hush. And that's how things get escalated. So I definitely understand what you're saying as far as stuff like that too. That could be a thing too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
sometimes you go into these relationships and not just relationships, sometimes you, even some of my male friends and female friends, I may have a conversation with one of my female friends, and, immediately she would tell me, like, I'm not going to shut up for him. He's not going to shut me up. Or,
Right.
I gotta protect myself just as much as he's trying to protect me. And I know that that comes from a lack of trust, right?
Mm.
Right.
Are
Mhm.
you doing things with intention to help me or hurt me? And I think
Right.
that, over the course of years, what the women have seemed to become harder because of that lack of trust. And if I
Mm.
can't, if I'm with someone and you're telling me to be quiet or you need to handle something, if I don't trust you, immediately you're cheating on me. You're gonna go
Mm.
do something I don't approve of. You don't want me to know what you're doing. So immediately I'll call it to question. So it may be the lack of trust and respect that you don't have in your relationship, and you need to build that before you can go and address that mate or that, your relationship in a certain
Mm.
tone or dynamic. Because if you told me, and I don't even care if you're playing Xbox for 18 hours, but if I lack trust and respect for you, I definitely am not going to listen to you tell me shut up. I'm definitely not going to listen to you tell me to go to the mailbox and pick up the mail and come back. I'm not going to trust you because I think you just like any stranger on the street. You're going to let me walk down a dark alley and club me
Mm.
upside my head and drag me off. Like, I don't trust. There's a trust barrier there where it's
Yeah.
like a woman could be hardened because she just does not have the trust and respect for a man. And it may be the lack of male role models in her life. It may be the fact that, the relationships in the past have failed her. So it's something there that hardens
Right.
that. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily that we're born out of the womb and we just don't want to, because let's think about the era of damsel in distress. That term exists
Right.
for, right? Oh,
Right.
well, he helped me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, we had that. So it's not like a woman doesn't want to be protected, loved. And I can't begin to tell you, when you find the right person,
Mm.
you know that those things and those, statements to shut, be quiet so I can handle this, that works. But it only works if you have that respect and mutual trust. If you don't have
Right.
it, I'm gonna be a brick wall. Every time you talk to me, I'm gonna hear something completely different. I'm gonna do something completely different, completely the opposite. If you haven't shown me that you have the leadership skills or necessarily the dynamic of protecting me and providing for me. And I
Right.
think that's why I said I'll go back to the father, because I'm like, what was my father like? My father was there. He did everything. So if I look like
Absolutely.
him to a man of today, I'm like, he saw. They soft as baby
Well,
shit. Like, these
right.
dudes out here, they 50, and then you said 30. I was like laughing in my head because I'm like, these dudes 50 sitting on the Xbox. These dudes
Yeah.
50 sitting on the Xbox, like, I don't care about no woman. Click, 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 click. And I'm like, that's all you comfortable with that? You comfortable living with that? You comfortable go grabbing or borrowing a shovel so you could just go shovel to make $20? That's not driving
Right.
motivation.
Yeah,
That's
see,
not
no,
ambition.
so, see,
It's a
I'm
big
not an
difference.
Xbox. I'm not an Xbox shill. Actually, I'm a PlayStation man. But but we're gonna stop all the Xbox slander around these
You
parts
get
here,
what I'm
right?
saying, though.
Yeah.
The video
No, I
game
mean, look,
altogether.
I
It
get
is a,
you been killing Xbox. I'm like, damn, what they do to you?
You know what I mean,
right.
though. The
Well,
video games. It's the video
yeah, does
games.
Microsoft owe you money? Like, what is happening here?
They do. They do. They
I
take
bet, yeah.
10.95 every month.
Yeah,
Bastard.
see, I see. Yeah, you getting
Uh-huh.
it back in blood. I see. Jesus Christ.
For real.
You know what I
Kick
mean?
it
So
back in while I can.
Yeah, Garrett.
no, I was just gonna say, so in the situations like that, because I was raised in a one parent home, raised
Mhm.
by my mom or whatever. So I was naturally taught to be hard or whatever. I always wanted to break that generational gap because I didn't want to be like, I mean, if you hard all the time, hard all the time, hard all the time, then what's going to happen when you do find that man or whatever? You're going to
Mm.
be too hard on him. So now you're running him away or whatever. But if I got a man in my presence and you sit up here playing Xbox all day for 10 hours.
Here we go with the Xbox.
She whispering
Damn.
it.
Xbox, I love you. I want
PlayStation.
y'all to be a
PlayStation.
sponsor. Don't look, Xbox, I love
Okay.
you. I want you to be a sponsor. Don't listen to them. I love you. I love you, Xbox.
Right.
I
And then we
love you. I
playing
love you
video
all of
games
Microsoft.
all day long. And when it is time for you to man up and I can't respect you because you really don't want to be here or
Mm.
whatever. So how can I respect you? I mean, now I gotta let you go. Because I see you
My,
don't want to be.
my question is, why is that always the default, right? Like why is that always the default when you ladies think
Because
of men? Because that's not most men. All
no,
right,
no, no,
that's
it's
not
not.
most men.
No, it's not.
Most men have you know what I mean, relatively had their stuff together. You know what I mean? Even if they do play video games, it's within reason unless they're making money off it. And trust and believe there is millions upon millions and millions of dollars to be made
Fact.
Uh-huh.
playing video.
They never invested like that. You know it.
You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed how many people do. It's normally the
No.
younger guys. So you know,
Not our brothers. Not our brothers out there 50 years old. Okay. They
yeah,
not in
actually,
tournaments.
yeah, no, I'm
My
telling you,
cousin was.
Right.
He was a big part of that. He was.
yeah, there are a lot of young brothers out there, and that's what they do. They play the game professionally. Google the term walkthrough. You'll see all the sorts of people who do, you know what I mean, these video games, you know, and will literally play the entire game and put it online and make money, and that's their job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so there's a
Okay.
huge market in that, especially for the youth. You know, like but you know, a lot of times those sort of guys, right? Especially, the first of all, those should be the sort of guys that are probably younger and don't have any children. Now, if you're a man with children, then that's different. You have to kind of operate differently. And I did want to double back to what you said, Ty, which was like, yeah, your dad would just go and work on the car, right? I'm like, you don't get it. That's his downtime away from y'all.
Of
Yeah,
course.
absolutely. That's
Of
the same
course.
thing
We knew
here.
that, but it still was
That's
productive
his
because that's the
video,
family vehicle.
but
That's still
that's his
productive.
but that's his Xbox of the day, of his day.
Right.
That's his version of Xbox. Yeah, he could have took it to the mechanic and had it done weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he's going to tinker with it, so he knows he gets a couple of hours every couple of days away from y'all. That's his
Fact.
quiet time.
Fact.
And they need that.
He
They need
told
that. That's
you,
needed.
he
Yeah.
told you he was going to watch the game so that you guys would subconsciously leave him alone for 2.5 hours.
Fact.
Yeah.
That's all he's asking. And honestly, with a lot of these guys who play the game, that go home and they're with their girl and all that, they just need quiet time. They just need to not do things. The way men process downtime is different than the way women process downtime.
Okay.
It's vastly different. You know, so yes, there are guys, you know, a lot of guys who end up going to the gym. So I start seeing a lot more brothers in the gym because that's their quiet time. I run into a lot of men in the gym, period, because I work out at a private gym. But the men I do run in there, they're like in their 50s, 60s. I can tell they just came in here. They in there lifting 20-pound dumbbells. They're not really doing nothing. They just wanted to watch TV and be away from the wife for a few hours. They want to have an excuse. Well, I'm going to the gym, dear. I'll be home by 8.
And yeah, they deserve that.
Yeah. You know, so that's what you get from. Yeah.
I'm about to turn it on you. What about women makes them harder? Let's reverse this because we attacked the guys for the last 20 minutes. Let's get on some of the ladies. Let's get on why women could be perceived as harder today than they were previously. Anybody want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I'll go since, you know what I mean, the ladies took
Please
the mail.
do. Give us your perspective because we just going to tell you, no, that's not it.
I know. I know. I don't think the ladies are harder. I just think that they have misplaced anger due to trauma bonding. You know, every sister has this woe is me story, and a lot of it sounds like The Color Purple. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of it sounds like The Color Purple. You know, you hear some of these stories and they sound like a Mary J. Blige record. It's like, wait a minute, is that really you? Are you just mad because he really wasn't into you like that? Or all men are trash because that one guy didn't see any value in you? And spoiler alert, he didn't have to. He gets to choose like you get to choose.
I'm looking at my clock because I'm like, your time is up. You wrong. So
I know.
It's not no trauma bonding. I want to be the first to tell you, trauma bonding and bringing life experiences and love is not trauma bonding. Sometimes you need to express to your mate what you don't want to see in your mate because you experienced that already, and that you
Right.
hope that they don't go down that same path. That don't mean that the
Mhm.
brother don't hear you and be like, I'm headed that direction, I'm about to play these same games. It doesn't mean it. It's just us expressing what we want and what we don't want in our relationship. And I think
Right.
a lot of times guys are like, oh, she crying on my shoulder about an ex again, or she's gonna put me in the same bracket as her boyfriends or her exes.
Wait. I
What?
never said nothing about trauma bonding in a relationship.
Oh,
Most you low key do that with each other. You don't really
Mm.
you see what is different. There's two different things, right? When you are talking to your mate, right, you are what we consider downloading. You know, you're giving us the run of your day, how you feel, all of the nuances. We're sitting there, we have to be engaged, we have to interact, you know, we have to actually show genuine care, you know,
Mhm.
and sometimes some of us do glaze over, but that's just, you know, that's just a guy just being a lazy ass. But for the
Mhm.
most part, we have to absorb that information and approach it to you as, you know, it's something that you have been experiencing. That's
Mhm.
download, that's normal in every relationship. You know,
okay.
I speak of trauma bonding. What I am talking about is when you look at something like the Shade Room comment section,
Mhm.
you know, celebrity cheating on celebrity, and you see all of these lines of niggas ain't shit, that's how niggas be, all this other stuff, and it's like that is a level of trauma bonding.
I
When you
don't
do,
agree with that. I think that's
Right.
man bashing. I don't think that's trauma
Yeah.
bonding.
I don't
I
even think
think
it's
that's
man
male
bashing.
bashing. I
I
think
think
that's
it's
honestly
male
male
bashing.
bashing. If I take one dude that did me wrong and put it on the rest of the society, all black men and white, and any other mixed race man, that's not trauma bonding. That
no,
is
trauma,
actually no,
when
it's
you do
not
it,
trauma bonding.
no,
That
when you
is
do it by
man
yourself,
hating. That is
no,
intentionally man hating.
when you do it by yourself, it's man hating. When you are doing this with others and all of you are kind of in this circle, if you will, you know, it's like, you know, like sitting there at the nail salon with your homegirls and you're sharing these stories, things of that nature. Like that's more trauma bonding because you end up
I don't
kind of
agree.
I don't
picking
think
that
it's
up
trauma
and bringing
bonding.
that with
I
you.
don't think so either. I don't think
I
that's
think it
go
Because it's a
ahead,
traumatic
please.
experience.
right. We can all agree
That's
this
why.
happened to us. But you see how we first came in, Victor, how you know how you see how we came in, right? How we would talk about the men and how we know their feelings and their emotions and how they need to da 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 da. As soon as they switch over to the women, it was a joke. It was, oh God, here she go with her feelings. It's not cool. Nobody know, like that's not cool. When it comes to
Yeah,
us, we are laughed at.
yeah,
Nobody seems to think it's okay. Like that think is okay. It's not okay.
okay,
As
yeah.
soon as our feelings are come into play, it's oh boy. It's like yo, we can't even. And that's why we're hard. We can't trust nobody. We've been through some stuff, and as soon as we do it, we man hate and know we can. We actually communicating that we've been through the same thing. We've been through the same thing before, and it's
That is
sad that we went through that.
that's literal trauma bonding.
You know
No,
what trauma bond? Can
but
I give
why
you
do we
the
have to go through this
definition?
though?
You know
Why is
what
that even the term we have to go through this? Why?
you
What
know what I
because
think trauma bonding is?
okay, let's hear this. Not there. I'll
Okay,
answer that.
trauma bonding to me, right? If you whatever you went through in your past with your family, your friends, your relationship, whatever the case, if I bring something traumatic that happened to me in my current relationship to get sympathy or to get a guy to like me more or to buy in on my story of who I am, that a little bit is trauma bonding. Meaning, and I'll give you a perfect example. Say my ex was abusive and he used to call me curse words or whatever. And then I get with someone new. And I'm like, oh, don't call me this. Oh, don't call me that. But he never showed me that behavior. What was me? Oh, that's what happened to me. Believe me, this is my story. That's trauma bonding.
No,
That's
that's
me
A
putting
traumatic
my negative
experience.
experiences on you to get you to have sympathy with me. That's trauma bonding.
see,
Because then
but
you're
you
gonna be
got
like, oh, I have so much
that's
softened heart for her because she's been
that,
through all this trauma.
that's not. First off, we really. I won't speak for all men, but I'm confident that a sizable number of men don't think like that. And it's not bonding because we're not bonding with your trauma. We're looking to
They don't
find
care
solutions.
because they don't
No,
care.
we're
Because they
looking to
don't
find
care.
solutions. We don't want to throw no, we don't want to throw a pity party. We're looking to find solutions.
That's
No, listen,
me.
listen. Remember you just said, right? When we talk about the men, we were not catering to them. We were making sure they're okay, like mentally. That goes to the gym, it's our outlet, this is all that. As soon as we mention something about women, it's a joke. It's no,
Jazz is right.
it's weird to me that we get treated like that. We can't be this damn.
Right.
We can't be soft. We can't be because God make us this way. And then we come up and now we angry. We're bitter. Why do we have to go through this at all? Why?
First off, right, I would
Mhm.
strongly suggest for women, if you
Mhm.
see a bunch of men around talking, stay
Mhm.
out of their conversation. Because that's what
Okay.
we do. We stay out of y'all conversations because we
Mhm.
understand that women have a different look on the world than we
Right.
do. So it
Mhm.
is best not to meddle in there and get our feelings hurt.
Mhm.
Y'all have a bad habit going into men's spaces, and then you get your feelings hurt because you don't
Meaning what?
understand
How?
how.
Mhm.
If you take a look at pretty much any if you take a look at female podcast comment sections versus male podcast comment sections, not night and day. Night and day. You know what I
You're
mean?
making
You
our
don't
head
see a
hurt.
bunch of men in there.
Why do we have to defend ourselves against men? We're
You don't
supposed
have
to
to
be
defend
blind. Why
yourself.
we gotta defend ourselves against y'all? Why? Why?
You've
Why? Why?
never had to defend yourself against men.
We do. When I have not.
Wow. If anything, our
Mhm.
sisters have had the public microphone in terms of
Mhm.
what is considered the black community for at least
Mhm.
55 years.
Ma-
All right, so let's not act brand new. Okay, like we're not gonna play this thing of, oh well, the guys have something to say. Now it's this, this thing
We
of, well, the guys
listen.
are off. That's the thing. It ain't for you to listen. For you to leave us alone. Stay out
No,
of the
see, what you mean
conversation.
leave y'all alone? What do you mean leave y'all alone? We want to talk, we want to communicate now, leave us
I,
alone. When the women brought up a subject like what about us? How we feeling? What we going through? Now be quiet and get away from us.
You gotta
When it comes to
understand.
I
y'all,
was about to
when
say,
it came,
why
No,
should we leave it alone and just we supposed to just let it happen, just go about our day,
let it
just
happen. Here's what you ladies need to do. When you see a group
Mhm.
of men talking, leave them alone. You're
What you
having
mean
men
talking? I'm
conversation.
confused. I'm confused. I'm thoroughly
Okay.
confused.
When they're
You see
using that
men
word,
talking, right? See, put it like this, right? I have nothing but I have a bunch of men in my family too. So I learned a lot, which I learned I still didn't apply. But I learned that I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen to what they're saying. Whatever I don't know what the subject may be, I'm gonna listen. Some stuff I don't want to listen to, I should listen to, and some stuff I should. I learned a lot from men. I
look,
learned a lot from you right now. It's like, what's the subject we gotta walk away or don't say nothing? What are we talking about here? Like, what subject are we actually talking about to where we don't say nothing? Like what's the subject? Don't say nothing. Like, what's the subject?
what do you mean? What's the subject of don't say nothing?
You said when
You
men
said be
are
quiet. Don't get in
talking,
that
don't
conversation
say anything.
Yeah, no,
about
I said
what?
leave them alone. Don't talk
About
to
what
them.
I'm saying. What is it? What's the subject of us leave? What you mean? Like if they're
If you
talking
didn't,
about the game, we can't relate. I'm not even gonna get in men's conversation because that's between them. Like about a game now. I feel like if I could say something a little funny like what about my Giants? They talk about this and be like, oh, we go back and forth like whatever. It's cool, but what will actually be the subject to be quiet, walk away? Like what? I'm confused. Like
if
give me
you
an example. I'm
if,
confused.
if you hear a bunch of men talking about relationships, leave that conversation. Let those
Okay.
men commiserate by themselves. Leave them alone. You don't need to interject or give your opinion in their conversation because what you want to get back is
Mhm.
some sniping ass man who is going to tell you how men feel. Stay out of
And
those conversations.
I want to listen how men feel. I want that conversation, but I don't.
The only man you should be listening to know how he feels is the man that you're dealing with.
Well,
Stay
no,
away from
in general, I don't listen.
him. That is the
I don't
problem.
talk to men to go back and forth with them. I want to open communication. It depends on what it is. Some stuff I don't get into, like you said, I don't have nothing to do with that conversation. But we talk about relationships. If I hear conversation right, and men are talking about women, they're bashing women. I'm going to defend us tooth and nail, no matter what. That's one thing, especially a black
There is
woman.
the
I'm
problem right
going
there.
to, huh?
You
That's the
said that's
problem
your
right there.
problem.
What's the problem? Want me to defend the
Stay
black
out of
women?
it.
So it's okay for y'all to bash women.
It's
It's not
not
okay
your
to.
job. It's not your job. There are 21 million black women in this country. It's not your job to defend them all.
I
It's
can't
not.
defend them all. I won't. I can't. We have different opinions on certain stuff.
So you
I
know,
can't.
if they're not saying your name, ain't no need for you to jump in.
You
But
know what?
if
I get what
You
he's
don't
coming
go
from.
around.
if it's able
Jasmine,
to
I
a
get where he's
term,
coming from. You know where he's coming from? So
mm,
I'll take an example, right? I'll
mm-hmm,
never forget this. If you compare apple to orange, they have different flavors, right? And I
right,
liken that to black women because they're both fruit, right? But they
right,
have different complexities. One you got to peel to get through. The other one you could bite right into. At the end of the day, they're sweet fruit. So I
mm-hmm,
look at it like this, right? Every black woman is not the same, right?
right,
We all agree
Right.
to that, right? Now, I
Right.
may be a bum bitch. I could very much admit sometimes you can put your sweats on, put your hair in a bun, sit back, relax, and chill. And you may be that way. And you may have a foul personality. You may be a great person, no matter what it is, but you can't compare and defend because I know there's a lot of sisters out there that when you do a comparison in relationship, because I got those girlfriends, and they toxic. And you can't compare a toxic sister to a sister that's wholesome and that's about something good and that got something great
Right.
to offer. But if you got a female in
Okay.
your life and she's just messy and she always in some drama and she always getting you jumped or beaten to something or you
That's
got to fight
different.
every day, that's the comparison. So I can't defend that sister because I know
Right.
many of those
No,
sisters.
right.
And whenever
Absolutely not.
whenever I'm around or whenever they would say, and I'll never forget, I had this one cousin and her man would always be like, why can't you be like your other cousin? She's so calm. She's so peaceful. She about
Right.
getting her money. She's not messy. I see her every time. I respect her. She's nod and smile. She's so pleasant to be around. But every time I'm with your raggedy ass, and I'm like, ooh. And I'm like, don't talk to my cousin like that. I got to defend her because she's my cousin, and blah, blah. And I'm arguing for something that I know damn well ain't right.
Right. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'll check her for anything. I will check her for anything. I will
So
check her
it's
for
like you
anything.
can't defend every personality. You can't defend
I won't.
every person within the globe. You can't, because
Right.
there's some of us out there that's not the standard good, great woman versus
Right.
the messy sister that is about that life and knows it. And they know who they
Right.
are. They know who they are.
Right.
I used to be that girl in my 20s. You know what I mean? Like I had to learn
Right.
to be reserved more as I got older. So I think that's where Victor's coming from. I think he's saying, you have to learn how to play the role, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like they learn to play a role. When we on our phone with our girlfriends, they don't chime in. Maybe they want to be a little nosy and be like, what she do? What she do?
Right.
That's
Right.
fine.
Right.
That's natural in a relationship. They want to know about the mess. They want to know about, to a degree, like, what she do? That's crazy. Another boyfriend? But they don't
Right.
get
Right.
to
Right.
the depths of like, oh, what she do with him and how she do that and blah. They don't want to know the details. They just want to know tidbits of information. But it's like, that's reverse. If the guy is having a conversation with another dude, and he's talking about relationships and material that doesn't pertain to you and your current
Right.
situation,
I'm
but
not
he's
going.
talking to
Yeah.
his boy, that's none of my business.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
none of my
Absolutely
business.
not.
Have your conversation. And I respect it. I respect it. But I think my question to why women are harder is because of this. One, we never ever was allowed to talk about sex and what we want. I'm gonna take it there. I'm sorry. Women are more sexually able to express what they desire and what they want from a man. One, God sees some guys sees that as aggression, or I'm not turned on by a girl taking a lead
Right.
in the sexual when it comes to the bedroom. They want to be the man, they want to put the lead on. And I gotta tell you, I like a dominant man. So I want the man to take the lead in that. But sometimes, just sometimes, maybe once in a blue moon, I want to be able to pull them draws down and be like, give it to me. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Right, right.
But in the past, that was not the standard typical woman. The woman would be, oh, okay, if you want it. But they're never gonna be like, I want you to do blah, 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 blah. This position. Let me show you. That other day when you did that, don't do that again. I ain't like it. And they turn the page and be like, this is what I want, and show you a fit. We are more expressive sexually today in age. I think we know what we want. One, I think that we are no nonsense, meaning as soon as we track is not what we desire or want, we out the door. Hence me saying, when I don't show or emulate my father's behavior, I'm sitting there like, well, my arms full, like, you got 2 minutes. 2 minutes to get the up out of here, because I know my timer is going off. And I'm like, by every little thing that they doing, it's just tick, 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 tick. And I'm dismissive of them immediately. And that's why it's always the answer, because we want no nonsense. Either you came to play ball, or you leaving to go home. And that's how we look at it. That's how we look at it. Even though God, I use the God reference. You see how they like that? I don't even know sports, but there you go. You know what I'm saying? But I want them to know when they watch this, that it's either you hot or you cold. You can't be in the middle and just flip flopping on me. That can't be the answer. So I think women today are no nonsense. We're verbally sexual, what we want, what our desires are. And I think it is also the attitude of, I'll do what I want. Because while you trying to maintain you, I'm trying to maintain me.
We're go-getters.
We're go-getters, but we have no problem putting your feelings aside to safeguard my own.
Because nobody
Right.
did it for us. So we saw y'all do it, so
Right.
we're gonna do it.
Because we've seen our
Right.
mothers heartbroken. We've seen our
Yeah.
mothers crying over men. We've seen our mothers divorced. We've seen our mothers struggle in a 20-year marriage and then eventually part ways. We've seen it, and we looking at her like that will never be me. So we've
Right.
learned to be harder over the course of years because we have a set standard. Don't be and all you want, okay? Let me tell you, this is
Talking about, oh, I don't know if it's trauma bonding, but I didn't know why I did Donald Trump there. I don't know if it's trauma bonding, but you're trauma bonding right now.
but we don't express that to you. We just know that's not in our mind. That's not
We
what we
can't
gonna
though, but
fall
look
for.
what listen. Look what happened when we were expressing ourselves. You see what he doing?
Immediately,
it?
he like,
Like,
we are in his
oh,
ears.
You literally just
If we
said
have a
that.
story to tell, right? We can't have a story to tell. We can't open up. We can't. It happened to us.
But
Why do
we
you
would
think-
never tell a man that we're in a relationship with that. That's the ticking in our head. We're like, check box, he's doing this. Check box, he's doing that. And we will
Yeah.
break up, like just not by your
Right.
behavior of you not showing us that you serious about whatever we're moving towards. If I feel that we're moving towards a relationship and it's not getting there fast enough for my taste, or it's not the behavior that my expectations have, I got no problem to say no nonsense. I gotta go because I'd rather invest my time
Right.
somewhere else than in
Somewhere
this
else.
nonsense that I'm dealing with right now.
I mean,
That's the
spoiler
reality
alert,
for women.
spoiler alert, ladies, men do the same thing. We're just quiet about it. We do the same thing. All this, you're like, oh,
We
we have the
laugh.
second. Yeah, no, our list happens to be shorter and we're a little more pliable with it. You know, yes, most men want a woman who hasn't been around the block, but they don't
Mhm.
want a virgin.
Mhm.
You know, so we have to square that circle, and we have to do it
Mm.
logically. We can't just
Yeah.
magically, try to figure out the Franken nigga. I mean, we have to actually buckle down and be like, all right, what am I going to give versus what I'm getting? You know what I mean? Like, well, you check these boxes off too. And the difference is because, a lot of times we would rather, and this is bad that men do this, right? I've even been guilty of it, but we would rather stay in a shitty situation than have to deal with the fight. Because we fight enough. So the last place we want to fight is at home.
Mhm.
Right.
So it's better to just go ahead and, kind of let this fizzle out so we think that you figured out that you're done. And then we're like, okay. Some may put up a fight, some may pretend to put up a fight, but deep down, and most of these guys, unless they really were blindsided by it, they saw it coming before you did. They just let you do what you do.
Mhm.
We're not wasting time, but we know it's a lot easier this way. This way, you can run off with the story about how you broke up with this guy, you can check all your boxes, and he already knew that.
Yeah.
It's like, go ahead,
So
because
I
it's
hate
better
that
for you.
statement. I hate that statement. What am I getting? A human being. That's pretty
Right.
much it. You're a
Love.
human being. I'm a human being. Every day I wake up and struggle. Every day I wake up and put one shoe on,
Right.
one at a time, one pants leg on, one at a time. I'm no superhero. I'm not sitting here saying I'm $1 million anything. Like, when I hear men say, what am I getting versus what am I giving?
It-
We both work a job. We both bring an
Well,
income. We both
there's
have
one
the same common goal, hopefully, or this ain't gonna work. And I
there's
think that when you say, what am I getting? Am I just getting, sex or vagina or penis? That's what you giving me. You giving me penis. I got all I got for you is vagina too. And we're gonna work on our common goal till we reach it. You know what I mean? We're gonna wake up every day, go to our dusty ass jobs that we don't want to be at, get our paychecks, split the bills, smile, give each other kisses and hugs, and going about our day. That's how you're supposed to live your life until you figure we'll struggle together. Not struggle. That's not necessarily that means struggle.
Yeah,
We'll be
we'll
together.
work
We'll
together.
endure together. I'll say endure. We'll endure together. And then hopefully we come out the month together. That's the only thing I think of when you say, what am I getting out of this? What do you
Yeah,
expect?
when I say what am I getting, I'm asking basically, am I getting somebody who I can trust? Am I getting somebody who, if I need someone to do something small, I can depend on you to do it, and I won't get a bunch of extra pushback. I'm depending on somebody who, at some point, you know, for those who are able to or have the time to, can actually, you know, raise their children. Because the one thing every man that's committed to you is giving you that you would never have to give is his life. And that trumps everything else. You know, you mentioned earlier about, you know, not trusting a guy and whatnot and having to talk back to him. The first thing I thought about is, well, what if y'all on your first date? So you feel like you want to talk back, but we may get effing robbed
Oh, no, it's
because
different. No, no, no.
you're too busy not paying attention, and I'm trying to tell you to stop, but you want to be defiant against me because you don't trust me. So now I may have to throw my life away for you on our first date.
Mm.
Or I have to live with the shame of letting something happen to a woman under my charge. And that is not something men can live with. Because as a man, you cannot go against another man with that hanging over your head. Because then your life is in danger. So yeah, no. Of course I need to ask what you're going to bring. I need to ask what do I get?
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, you ladies will fight for y'all fight for the sisters, right? Y'all fight for the sisters.
For everybody.
What does my mother, what does my mother get for giving my life? What does she get?
A t-shirt. No, I'm joking.
A t-shirt? Yeah.
A rest in peace t-shirt. No,
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
I know.
joking. I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Proceed.
Yeah, that's going to be abrogated. But yeah, what does my mother get?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I'm 25 years old. I'm on a first date with this girl. I thought she was cute. You know, I'm just getting to know her. She wants to go out on this date. I don't know that she's got some crazy ex. I don't know that she's into drug dealers and gangbangers.
Mm-hmm.
And now I got a situation. What does my mother get for that?
Right.
She get you, I'm sorry? That all you give that black woman?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Why we gotta lead to death? Why can't they just scrap in the street like back in the day? Like,
this isn't back in the day.
I know, I'm aware.
Exactly.
This isn't back in the day. You know, this is where, you know what I mean, people died for nothing.
Right.
So if I want to throw my life on the line for you, the least you can do is stop talking when I tell you to.
That's different. No, I get what you're saying. We said that one of that before. That's different. Like, yeah, girl, y'all in danger. Y'all are in danger.
Yeah,
like, girl, hush. But you gotta turn around. You gotta turn around. You gotta handle her. You got to. I ain't gonna say. Never mind. You gotta knock her out.
But even in a relationship, if you're with somebody and you're thinking of, well, you know, it's hard for me to have to nurture him. This man is going to fight the first robber coming through your door.
Yep.
And if he don't, you ain't gonna want to have sex with him again. You ain't gonna want to be with him. So yeah, make my doctor's appointment.
No. No, right? So we can say that, right?
Figure it out.
That.
Dial the phone.
We've done all that. Say for instance, we've done all that.
You figure it out when you find a dead mouse somewhere.
Oh, see, I'm used to doing it myself.
Yeah, I know. You figure it out when you know the garbage is full and you need to take it out and it's pitch black dark. You figure it out when you have to cut through the hood or you have to, you know what I mean, do it. Hey, listen, I get it. You do it yourself. A lot of women do.
Yeah.
A lot of women do.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I get it. But, you know, it's always important to take a look at oneself and figure out what they can improve on socially.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is it that I can do better so that I do not attract either people who are not going to be that far interested in me to want to stay long term, or am I attracting just the wrong caliber of person? You have to look at what you have to offer that person. That's important. Then we know we have to offer. We're always told it. You have to have a job if you want to get with me.
Oh, no.
I don't want no scrubs.
Yeah.
Oh, you got
You know?
to have a job.
Yeah. We ain't trying to get copyrighted.
You get me started. I'm sorry. I always bust into song whenever I hear a lyric, and I'm like, I can't help it.
Yeah, no, we don't need no copyright strikes. Trust me. But yeah, like, like that is something that gets lost in translation. And I've heard women say, well, every man ain't gonna do that for you. Right? Every man's not gonna do that for you. You ain't the woman he's gonna do that for. So you need to understand what sort of man you're around, and if you are really that caliber woman that man is going to want to throw his life away from. There are plenty of men in the ground and in a box over their woman. You know, plenty of them. We call them violent criminals. So don't, yeah, like it's something that, like, I think ladies kind of lose perspective of, and I get it because the way propaganda and the media is set up, you're always told that you're strong and independent. You don't need a man. Yeah, and you figure it out because you do, because you're an adult, and that's what being an adult is: being able to pay your bills, have a place over your head, feed yourself. That's adulthood. That's not something I wouldn't congratulate a man for that, and I won't congratulate a woman for that. I would expect you to be able to do so. Now, if you're able to do that and take care of a whole household, then yeah, no. In this economy, where the average house starts at about 350 to 400K, yeah, no, you get a lot of props, bro. You get a lot of props, bro, or sis, you get a lot of props because that is not easy to do.
Yeah.
Regardless of credit score.
Yeah.
Right, but
And it's not
that's
going
a
to
lot of
change
women.
anytime
It's a lot
soon.
of women. It's a lot of women.
Yeah, there
I
are.
agree.
There are. But I think the message that gets lost with a lot of these women is that when you're trying to be so hard, like, all you end up doing is sounding like a dude. And no heterosexual man wants to come home to another man unless you want to split the
Right.
bills and be roommates. We sleep in 2 different rooms. But no heterosexual man wants to come home to that. They want to come home to somebody who's happy to see them. Yes, go ahead. Give me your 2.5 hours of download. I'm ready for that because you know why? You're going to do simple things like nurture me, and I can use that. And hopefully, if you pick up on enough cues, you know when to give me like 45 minutes to an hour of quiet time to myself.
Okay, can I say this? So,
Yeah.
what happens where the man's getting all that, and he still does wrong? He still does wrong. He's still gonna go out and just do. He's getting everything he want at home, but he goes out and does something different.
It's the luck of the draw. Like if you're a man with money and you end up with a gold digger, it's the luck of the draw.
So, but how much is it? It's too much on our end. It's a lot on our end. We're not saying not a lot of men on the end of men, but and when it comes to women, we get it way worse. We get it way worse.
No, you get it different. It's not. I would never say it's worse or better for men or women because the fact of the matter is, like what it comes down to is you just made the wrong pick. It's okay. See, right? You ladies have been approached sexually by males since you were 12. Some of you younger. Men, boys, well, I'm not even going to get into the whole demographic of boys who started having sexual intercourse at 12 or 13. But for the most part, we have to kind of, with the exception of, actual, pedo stuff, we have to earn access to girls, access to women. It's an earned thing. So this whole thing of being done wrong, it's a lot easier to be done wrong when you have to be the one pursuing. You have to be the one proving. Because you can be a foodie call. You can be somebody that she'll come and check you out and holler at you. And then I've heard people getting what I call slow drip, where they talking to this chick and she keep asking them for $10, $15, $20, $100. He's so busy trying to show that he's worth it that he don't know that, you know what I mean? She's just siphoning money off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes, I understand, sisters, your time is wasted, but our time, our resources, and it can happen too with ladies. I'm never gonna be wrong. We all know the proverbial joke about giving that dude your fucking income tax check and all that other nonsense. You know what I mean? We all know that silly ass nonsense. So, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but I think it just happens differently. And ladies have had the microphone for so long, publicly, that it's kind of messing y'all up when you hear the guys speak back because apparently you're not used to it.
I am.
Everyone on the Zoom call has seen The Color Purple on at least VHS and television. I'm sure everyone here has seen Four Colored Girls. That's propaganda. That's millions of dollars poured into saying one demographic of people are bad people inherently.
Right.
That's millions of dollars. You don't see that for other groups of people. You see that when it happens to us. And it's always because there's so many of our sisters who are willing to, continue to project that narrative.
What narrative?
This narrative of black men are bad. Like, Let me ask you a question.
No. Yeah.
Huh?
So I don't
Yeah.
believe black men are bad. I think some
Right.
black men are bad.
Nobody. Yeah.
Are. Just like
Come on.
some black women are bad, per
Are
my
bad.
clip earlier.
Come on. It's some, but that's not the media you're fed.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
You
not the
know what
media you're
another
fed.
stigma is? I'm sorry. You know what another stigma is that actually Jazz touched on a minute ago?
Mhm.
I don't know why we believe that when a relationship ends, that a man can't be hurt. Like, so, and I say that because you said, what do you mean? Like the woman, we end up hurt, we end up, distraught. We put all our energy and time in it. So did they to a
Mhm.
degree, right?
Mhm.
So
Right.
even if he lied to you and cheated on you and all that stuff, it was a point of time where there was like some good in that relationship where they
Mhm.
invested their time, their energy, their money, whatever the case may be. You give, he give, whatever. But if the relationship breaks up, it was a thought process that happened before that breakup from his perspective and yours, right? You're
Right.
just so focused on your hurt and what you went through and experienced and what you gave and what you put into it and all the lies he told, but then reverse engineer that and hear
Mhm.
his perspective and his side. Because I got to tell you, I was in a relationship once and I sat
Mhm.
back and I had to think to myself, like, huh, I never sat down and actually thought about his side of it, right? What is his
Right.
side of it? What is his side telling me about myself? And how do I
Right.
improve that either in this new in a new relationship that I want, and not to bring that negativity because it's a self reflection. It's like a self
Yeah.
realization that you have to have with yourself because you can't be perfect. No one's perfect. So you got to sit back and be like, what did I do in that relationship? Was I shitty? Was I shitty in that relationship?
Right.
And then
Right.
you start thinking like, yeah, I was out with my girls that night. Yeah, I did tell that dude don't come over, even though he dropped me off
Mhm.
food the day before when I was sick.
Mhm.
Oh man, like you start thinking about it, you like, oh man, I was a piece of shit in that relationship.
Right.
And so
Right.
you walk away with a hurt, right? And it
Mhm.
take you like think about it, because I know I go through a process. It take me like 2-3 months to get over the last person that I'm in a relationship with. And I'm like, it's a whole thought process to me. And I kind of gotta flush myself out of it. My sad songs. I don't care. I put on Mary.
Right. Right.
I put on my
More
Mary,
media
I put on my
propaganda.
Tamia, I put on my songs and my Brandy, and I cry my eyeballs out in some Monica, and I play those
I
songs
don't.
because I know
Right.
that's a part of my breakup process.
The
I put
process.
on my
Right.
rom-coms. I want to see good relationships work out and see and then eventually I'll circle back to myself after I go through all of that drama because I got to make sure
Mhm.
it's dramatic. I go
Mhm.
back
Right.
to myself and I'm like, what did I do wrong? Because I did something wrong. It didn't just work because of him. It also plays a
Mhm.
role in something that I did. But he's not going to call you and tell you, like, I had to drown you out of my head because I know every day we spoke a text at this time, this time, this time. I knew when I came home, there was no hot meal for me. So then I had to go and make sure that I ate, slept, whatever the case may be. So you think about that too from his perspective. He's
Right.
also walked away with a little bit of hurt. Even if he cheated, you cheated, I don't care. They cheated, whoever. There's still some level of hurt there from both sides. We just
Right.
never acknowledge the man's hurt for
Right.
whatever reason. We're like, we hurt, he
And,
hurt me. Why
yeah.
you hurt me? But we're like, what did I put him through? I put him through some drama too. I put
Right.
him through drama
And
too. But we never tell ourselves that we will never admit that when we're wrong or when we do wrong or bad. I knew damn well in the back of my head, you started talking to somebody 2 weeks before you dumped that dude. You knew a
I wish
month
I would have.
before that you
I
went to
wish I
dinner with
would have.
somebody else because the vibe was just off. It's things like that you just don't, the realization, you don't tell them.
We
So
don't take
you know
accountability for it. We don't take accountability for it.
that.
The men, yeah, they hurt, but they also don't tell us.
Right.
They don't.
Oh my
They
God. I'm
don't.
gonna say
They
that.
don't call us to tell us like, you know what, you hurt
Yes,
me.
they do.
I was hurt or
Not
whatever.
for me.
Hey,
I
big
do.
For
head.
me,
What that mean? Hey, big head. That's them
they
Well,
just
showing
what,
want
that.
something. They want something. No, that's
well,
something
Big
different.
head mean I miss
the
you.
reason why
Right.
reason why most men are not going to tell you, that they're hurt, because pride is not something that is something we can just throw away. It is
Mm.
the reason why, a man has pride
Mhm.
when he shows his girl off. A man has pride when, he buys her something. Like, yeah, I bought my girl this. Because, I'm proud of her. Like, I'm pride. That's my pride goal.
Mhm.
So it's counterproductive to let her know how she has hurt you, because we kind of understand that that's going to be a part of your story, because we heard you talk to us about your ex. We listened.
Mhm.
So we're like, I'm not going to add that to the story,
Mhm.
because you're going to tell that to the next person if you leave me. So why would I tell you that? Why would I tell you that you hurt me? I felt pain, so that you can wear that as your trophy.
No, well, not for it's I get what you're saying, but not for me. Like I have an
I
example, like my
would.
ex. I
I was
asked
about to
him.
say,
I'm joking.
like he was
I'm
crying over here.
joking. I'm
No, not
joking.
me. No, I think y'all so dysfunctional. Y'all so
I'm about to
dysfunctional.
exhibit A.
I'm like, I was like, I made that nigga cry, y'all. I made him cry. You should
No,
have heard
cause
him
see,
calling me, telling me he was all heartbroken on the phone, and I was laughing in the background on me, like,
no,
nigga,
no, 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 no. The
I
only
got him
time,
whooped. That's
no, let me tell you, the only time I
me.
did that,
That's me.
I did
You
that
hear me? I'm
one
popping
time.
my
The reason,
shirt.
no, I did that one time, the ex before the last one, because this man did me so wrong. And he came back years later and admit, like, yo, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking doing that to you. He thought it was fun. He thought he got off on it, but he called me one day, and because it's over, baby, we never getting back together. So he called me like we friends, and I'm like, hello. He like, oh yeah. He decided to point her out to me, telling me how the new girl that he cheated on me with is doing him so wrong. He is so hurt. I'm giving him advice, and I said, you know what? You deserve it. You actually think I care? I tried to care, and it went back to my hurt, because like, look what you did to me. Should I
Right.
care? And I did care. I was like, damn, that's messed up. And I thought about, no, it's not. No, it's not. So it was two things that, because it was nonstop with him. It was two things. I shouldn't care because I shouldn't, because look what you did to me. I did absolutely nothing to you, and you admitted to me so many times, like, yo, you didn't deserve to be treated like that. I was too soft with him. He told me at the very beginning, he said, let your guard down with me, Jess. Why you let your guard up so high? I'm like, I do? Realize that. I'm like, okay, so let me try to fix it, because I want this to work with us. Let me fix this and try to figure out how to let my guard down. I was like, I'm still being me. So let my guard down. This what you do? This what you do? Really?
Yeah.
And you said it was unwarranted. You cheated on me just because because you could. So when he called me with the sob story, I really tried to give him advice, and then at the end, we came, and when something else happened, he came again I laughed, and he looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you, I don't care about what you're going through. I tried to be friendly with you. I tried to be this. I tried to be that. But look what you did to me.
Yeah.
Play with me. And I laughed at his face. And this man had a look at his face like he wanted to jump over the table and kill me. But he knew he was dead
Can I,
wrong.
can I
It was
tell
like,
you
why
a
would you do
secret?
that?
Can I
Huh?
tell you a secret?
Mm-hmm.
He just wanted to have sex with
No. Exactly.
you.
And
Yeah,
it
that's
wasn't
all that
working. That's
was.
why I laughed. I'm
Right.
like,
No, he was trying to
I
see.
laughed at
Trying
him
to see
because
if
it's
he
not
get
gonna
some
work.
Out of
sympathy
here.
He
behind
missed that old thing.
And
No,
I
yeah,
peep
he
all of
was
that.
trying to get
And it's
sympathy
like,
box.
what was,
That's all.
and again, you went
Yeah.
back playing games with me. And you took my kindness for my weakness again. You're proving my point. You took my kindness for my weakness. I was
Yeah.
trying to be there for you. I tried to like, damn, what's going on with you mentally, physically, and emotionally? Are you okay? And you came back playing again. So when I left in your face, you looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, that's not gonna work on me. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard from that man in about a year now, because I had to really express to him. I had to be a different person to him. The person that I wasn't, I had to be to him, because you who I was before, I'm no longer that person. He said it to me like, what happened to you? What happened? Like, why you treat me this way? What you want me to? What you want me to be the same? So you could try to no. And you sit here now, you looking stupid. I should smack them glasses across his table, but I'm not. Laugh in his face. I
I
laughed.
would
I
have.
was like, that's crazy. It's wild. It's crazy out here, Bob.
He would have been like, I reached out to my ex and she slapped the shit out of me. Deserve.
And then I
Because you
go
just
home and
wanted
tell
to
the girl
hit it
that you cheat.
again. Like,
Go home and tell the girl that you cheated on me with, that you had a conversation with me about now, about how your glasses got broken. Go tell her lie how the
Yep.
glasses got broken. She called my phone to
Yep.
group and tell her I laid hands on your man because he's playing with me.
Yep.
It's just
Absolutely.
you're traumatic. You're toxic as hell. Go about your business. Yeah. So then I become somebody else. Now I'm a bitch. Now I'm just okay, because you didn't
Yeah.
understand nice the first time.
Yep.
Yeah, well, hey,
Absolutely.
that's a part of the game. I mean, look, right? Boys, I mean, like I was saying before, boys for the most part are getting rejected by girls since about 6 or 7. So rejection and manipulation, that's just part of the game. We understand that inherently.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to say this meanly, but I do find it funny when women start going about oh well, he just played and da. It's like y'all going through shit I was going through in high school. Yeah, like that's how human beings are. Spoiler
Right.
alert.
But
Yeah,
it's not
they
fair.
don't
It's not
value you
fair.
the way you think they. No, it is fair. It is fair because
How?
I'm pretty sure if it was someone that valued you more than you valued them, and somewhere along the line you got more value out of them than they got out of you, and they are slighted. It's natural. It's dating. It's dating. Nobody nobody ends up happily ever after with the first person they meet.
Of course not.
Or
Yeah.
or after they've done all this other stuff, and then you wonder why. I mean, there's certain like everybody has their baggage. So when you approach a person, they may just not be interested. They may not be interested as much as you think.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. You thinking that they're playing with you, they're wasting your time. No, no, you see more in it than they do. It is what it is. You can't force another person to value you more than you value them.
Right. Right.
And a lot of guys are playing on that because they know that you ladies don't think about stuff like that.
No, we don't.
You're so involved in how you feel. You're not thinking, well, maybe I should just fall. I shouldn't fall back, but I should just kind of get a hold of myself, take it day by day, instead of planning the wedding in my head because we had such a great couple of dates.
I plan so many weddings.
Maybe get to know the person. Don't put that out there. Just take it by today was great. See what tomorrow brings. No negativity, no absorbent positivity. Let's just see what tomorrow brings. And after a few series of days like that, you can be like, okay, yeah, let's see what next week brings. And keep going and keep going. And that's how you build a solid foundation with someone and you end up trusting them. Because they have proven over time that they are who they say they are.
Mm.
And you
Let
have
me
to
tell you.
remember
Take
that
it
you
day
have to
by
Well,
day.
damn.
Let me tell you. I got a story on that one too. I got a story on that one
Just
because
take it
Lord, this
day by
man,
day.
it be day by day. Oh my God. I'm gonna leave it alone because I'm gonna start going to these crazy stories and it's gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah. I can't wait for us to talk and delve into it more. Do you guys have final thoughts? We'll start at Kira. Final thoughts for why women are harder and men are softer?
I mean, you guys done said it all.
It's a mouthful, right?
It's just everyday struggles. Why women are harder, men soft, because women are nurturers.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
And we know, and I just wanted to say, I do need my man. So I'm not one of those people who be saying,
Young family, no man. Where come where they do that at? Black people, where?
Yeah.
I
Jazz,
need
final
mine,
thoughts on it? Final thoughts on why women are harder and men are softer? Final thoughts.
Like she was saying, I said what I said. I'm just different. I see love and all type of stuff with, like they say, rose-colored glasses, something like that. Fully in my head, I live in the fantasy world. I have so much hope for us. I have so much hope, so much love to give. I'm like, I'm not giving up on men. I'm Black men. I'm not. Like, I'm trying not to. I'm trying very, very hard not to. Very hard. I'm not a person that said I don't need no man. I want no man because I wasn't raised that way. My father would just come over here and slap me if I said that. Like, no, I do. And I just don't know. I'm sitting here. I really am. I'm holding out hope. I'm holding out hope. Like, what is going on? I don't want to be hard. I want to be soft. I want to be delicate. I want to take the role. Be dominant. Please play this role because I've been doing this role by myself for 24 years. Please come in and take over with these kids. Please come here and love me so I can love it. And this love I have to give, let me put it on you. Please.
Right.
I got so much I can't give to everybody because everybody don't deserve it. But please go get these kids, if anything.
Girl, be careful with that statement. We are posting it, so be careful. You might get all kinds of guys answering that call.
For real.
I ain't gonna say it because we're gonna get bit, but I got something for that. I wish you would. But yeah, I have love to give. I want to give it. I don't want to be hard. I'm not a hard person naturally. I can tell you, like, I'm not a hard person at all. I'm not dominant. I don't want to be. So no.
Yeah. Victor, final words. Why are women harder and men softer? Final thought.
I just say bah humbug, or do I have to do a real answer?
Oh wow, bah humbug says a lot.
Bah humbug, Grinch. Go ahead,
Right.
do whatever you must.
No, I mean, listen, like for all of my travels, I would never, give negative connotation on either men or women because I do understand the sort of world we live in. So it's very important that we have to kind of separate the wheat from the chaff. Not all of us are good people. Not all of us have anybody's best interest in heart. But at the same time, there are some, historical things that have led to kind of where we are. You have to acknowledge those and work from them, and understand that we're not going to be able to, you know, bring everybody together under that umbrella. Some people are just going to be outliers, and that's fine because they serve as a lesson for us all.
Mm.
Okay, I can respect that statement. I want to say my final thoughts are, you should be true to you or who you are, be true to who you are. Make sure that you are, if you are a hard person, that you are learning to soften for the right individual so you're not taken advantage of. And that goes for men and women because that goes both ways. And I also want to say that if you have to be the breadwinner, if you have to provide, if you have to lead, do that. Do it in respect that it's your destiny, I think a lot of times we struggle as men and women because we've given this fairy tale thought that a prince or a princess will be delivered to us,
Mhm.
and that is not necessarily the case. It just is life, and if it doesn't work out, you got to know how to get on that horse and ride off into the sunset with or without a mate. And that's just my honest opinion as to why women can be perceived a little bit harder and men softer. Your mental stability is the most important out of everything. So you should put that first. And I'm just going to make sure I say that part because that's really important. Sometimes a man could beat you down or a woman could beat you down, but as long as you're true to who you are and stand on your ground, you should be good. That's my thoughts. There we are, spoken full opinions. There you are. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are the Grown Up Group with Jazz, Kira, Victor, and myself, Ty. Please share,
Bye.
like, and subscribe. Love and peace, and thank you so much.